So today we're going to visit the Kioti dealer.
What do coyotes sound like? Arr!
Something like that. I don't know if we need a wild animal in our backyard.
Tractors are kind of like wild animals. They're powerful. They can get mean.
Johnny's
got teeth for yours.
Johnny's not a wild animal.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
He's just a kind... I guess he does get kind of wild.
He's not always gentle, though.
You know, after our last video at Yanmar, a lot of people were asking about, well, what we were going to do with Johnny and what size tractor we wanted, things like that. Well, our intent is to keep Johnny, or at least keep a subcompact tractor like Johnny.
What? We can't get rid of Johnny. He's a part of the family.
No, we're not going to get rid of Johnny. But could we update Johnny sometime, maybe?
I don't know.
Okay, so I no use taking that fight right now to the finance committee, is there?
No. Only consider one thing at a time.
Okay. So at this point, we're thinking about not something just a minor step up, because we would be keeping Johnny for those tasks that are actually probably the most of our tasks in folks' backyards or front yards, tight areas, things like that. So we're thinking what we'd like to have is a tractor that's a good bit larger, but yet we still would like to keep the small frame size. Now, a lot of manufacturers, Yanmar being one of them, didn't really have that tractor. Now, the Kioti has a 4010 and a 4510. And just from looking at the specs, it looks like the 4010 is about the same size frame as a 3 Series Deere. And the 4510 is getting up there toward the 4 Series. So we intend to take a look at both of those. They have a lot of transmission options, cab options, of course, like that, but we'll take a look at a little bit of that. We don't exactly know what they'll have in stock. We haven't called. This will be a cold call. They don't know we're coming. They don't know what's going to hit them, do they?
No. They haven't seen anything like us yet.
Well, here we are at the Kioti dealer. Our first glance is kind of impressive. They have a nice inventory. It's all laid out, sorted by size. Every tractor's got an attachment on it.
I like the color.
Yeah.
It matches my hair.
It just looks to me like they want to sell a tractor. You can see tracks where they've been moved recently. This is the 4510 we were talking about. This is, I think, a little bit bigger than what we're looking for.
Yeah. It's a 4010 SE.
Yeah, I like the size of this. I really wasn't thinking a cab, I don't think.
I kind of like the cab.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the size. I wish they had this in a 45 or 47 horsepower version, because I was thinking that horsepower range, but this size. The visor, radio.
Hey, this has heat and air. I'm sold.
Uh-oh. Did you hear that? Okay. Well, let's go in and see if we can find somebody to help us.
Anything we can help you with?
Yeah, we're looking at a tractor out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you a sales guy?
I am.
Aaron, I see a lot of tractors out here. It looks like you've got them arranged in size order pretty much on this side over here, right?
Yes, sir,
And,
for the most part.
When I look, I just see this one right here. It looks just a little bigger than I want. That's just wider, and I think mainly the width. I feel like it wouldn't have as good a turning radius. I'm thinking that size right beside it, maybe without a cab. What you got something like that around here?
Absolutely. Well, that model there is actually new for Kioti. It is a CK4010SE model. Basically, they've had a CK10 series for about a little over 3 years now. Very popular tractor, is my best seller.
Okay.
Now, the SE was just released this year. So it is the standard tractor with more bells and whistles, more features, things like that.
What does SE stand for?
Basically, SE Special Edition.
Special Edition. That's what we want,
I
Kristen.
thought it was super equipped.
Super equipped.
Super equipped. That's a good term. I'm going to use that now, actually. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's a 40 horse with the SE there, Special Edition, right?
Yes.
Do
That's
you have
your
one
cab.
without a cab?
I do. I have a 35 in stock without a cab.
Now let me explain. We'd love to have a cab, but it's pretty hard for us to shoot our videos with a cab. I mean, yeah, I could do like monologues and stuff inside, but we do a lot of interaction between us. That's kind of what we do, and interaction with our customers. So even though a cab would really be nice for mowing, and for most of our viewers, I would recommend get a cab. That guy right there is probably a great purchase.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the right thing for us.
Absolutely. And it's not for everybody. The biggest time that a cab is nice, in the summertime, okay, it can be a little nicer when you're bush hogging in the heat and stuff, but the winter time is where you want the cab because nobody wants to be out plowing snow in 10 degrees.
Absolutely, we don't. So you've got a 35 horse over here, and it's identical to the 40.
Yes, sir.
Other than the 4 or 5 horsepower.
Exactly.
Okay,
yes.
well, let's take a look at it.
Absolutely. Follow me right over here. So the model we will be looking at today is the 3510 hydrostatic. This is the one with the tiller on the back, just to show off the tiller.
Hey, it's already equipped. We can get started and start tilling tomorrow.
Absolutely.
This is a Kioti brand tiller.
That is a Kioti branded
Who makes
tiller.
this tiller, Aaron?
Woods.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, is it a reverse rotation? I see this
yes, sir, it
flapper
is.
up here.
Absolutely.
One thing, that's what we can see a lot of times, is you can tell if they're reverse rotation because they have this guard. Otherwise, you could get rocks thrown up into the tractor and into your face.
That wouldn't be good.
No, that wouldn't be good. This is a 5-footer, right?
Yes, it sure is.
And it won't.
Right at 60 inches. So
It just barely covers the tire width. Now, you could probably put a 6 on this one, couldn't you?
You could. Absolutely. So what you're going to find is some of the standard features on the 35 SE is, first of all, you found the tilt steering wheel on there.
I like a tilt wheel. I like to be able to get it down a little bit.
Exactly. It's all about whoever's using the tractor and everything. That is actually a lever that engages what they call the linked pedal. And on the hydrostatic transmission, basically what that is it acts like a car's accelerator. The more you push down on the pedal, it raises the RPMs automatically to go with it. For loader work, just general transport of the tractor and everything, awesome feature to have.
I think some places call it like e-throttle or something like that.
Some do, yeah, e-hydro systems, things like that. But that is actually a mechanical setup on that guy.
2-range transmission.
3-range transmission. Yes.
Low, M, low, medium, and high.
Yep. Also, you do get cruise control standard on this tractor as well. That is an option on the standard version. The double armrests are standard on this guy.
I like that.
Yeah.
Super equipped.
Yep.
Exactly. Mirrors are standard on this tractor. So also, rear hydraulics are standard as well. You get 2 hydraulic remotes on the back.
Two rear valves.
2 rear valves. Because the valve block assembly that they use in this tractor is 1 block with 2 valves built into it.
Got position control here on the 3-point hitch. Here's the little button to where you can set the limit. So you just screw that.
Yeah.
Set the limit right there. 2 rear hydraulic valves. I like that they have their own little levers here that I could control them independently without using the joystick. These would be very nice. So far, I really like this. This is a nice tractor. Yeah, it's still not too tall. It is foldable. Toolbox here. It seems a little awkwardly high for the toolbox. I'd prefer the toolbox to be right here. Nicely equipped. The hoses all have springs around them to protect them from brush and things like that. It's got skid steer quick attach. I see that the hoses here, it's a little on the outside where the connection is. Aaron, can we fire this thing up?
Absolutely.
Hey,
There's
look at
a
that.
key. Now on this tractor here, give it 1 more click of the key.
Does that put the
Glow plugs are automatic on these guys, so they'll take just a second if it's cold outside.
There we go.
And then you put your foot on the parking brake pedal over there.
That's plenty high. Very nice.
Also, another thing you're going to notice on the CK10 tractor, this has the single tightest turning radius in this frame size. So go ahead.
Now, we don't have independent brakes.
Not on the hydrostatic drive.
Oh, just the hydraulic.
Well,
How am I supposed to use that bucket level indicator? I can't really tell. You go ahead and level up bucket for me.
okay. This is one of the models here that they come standard. Somebody can either paint or tape off where the level is, or we can cut them off. So either way, that is something we do before the tractors are delivered, depending on customer preference.
Another question I have is I see here that there's the regular 540 RPM
Absolutely.
place on the tack here, and then there's 540E. What is that?
Basically, the 540E is where this is where electronic PTOs kick in, and what they call a PTO cruise control on the tractors.
Okay.
So if you're running an implement such as a let's say a grain auger or a wood chipper, something like that, you don't always need the tractor at the highest RPMs it'll go. This also gives you, and it shows you your optimal ranges for running the PTO implement. But what that does, the E versus your standard, is the E is where you can start and you can give it little taps on your button. Where's it at on here?
I see manual and auto here on the PTO.
Absolutely. So right here you would put it in the auto, and then you can control bumps of about 100 RPMs or 50 RPMs. So if you're using a wood chipper and you need just a little bit more power because you've been putting in 4-inch limbs and you got a 5-inch limb, you can give it a tap here and it'll automatically raise the RPMs of the tractor up just a little
Okay.
bit.
When we get this auto PTO set up,
Yeah.
when we're at 1800 RPMs,
Yes.
which is the lower, it still runs at 540 in that situation. So that
sure
gives us
does.
a way to run the PTO at full speed without running the engine at the full speed.
Absolutely. That's right.
It makes perfect sense. A lot of times we don't have the need to use full PTO power, but we need full PTO speed.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
right.
Now, does this tractor come with a mid PTO? Is there any mid mower deck type arrangement for this tractor?
Mid mower deck, there is no option at the current time on this tractor. However, there is a mid PTO kit available for it. If somebody was to mount the snow blower attachment that
Okay.
Kioti has to offer, that's mainly what the mid PTO is used for.
Okay. Chris, do you want to drive this thing a little bit?
Sure.
Something else you're going to notice on the tractor too that you just I demonstrate to people on the daily is you can get off of the right side of the tractor because the loader valve is mounted on the operator station. So it's a lot more ergonomic to use, plus you have full access to both sides of the tractor.
Yeah, I mean, it was really easy to get off and on. Now, are there steps for it?
On the right side, there is not a step kit.
Left side, there is a step.
Yeah,
Okay.
left side has a step stick.
I like that the loader control joystick actually has instructions on
Well,
it.
I prefer it when it doesn't have instructions. That way, when you do it wrong, I can
look
grouch.
like an idiot? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's normal, right?
The first thing Christy asked when she got on the tractor was, how do I get this thing in high range?
It does not seem that way, absolutely. It looks like we like the turning radius quite a bit.
Yeah.
It really doesn't seem that much different than Johnny, just bigger.
It seems very easy to drive. The turning radius is very tight for this large of a tractor.
Yeah.
It does feel very nimble for this size.
And like I said, you can get away with running a 6-foot rotary putter on one of these guys if you'd like as well. So now keep in mind, if you want to run like a heavy-duty 30 series Woods or Land Pride, something like that, you're going to need a little bit bigger tractor for something
I
like
don't
that.
think that's what we're headed towards anyway.
Yeah, that's a 3.5-inch cutting capacity cutter. So anything up to about 2.5 would be just fine on this guy.
How difficult to take off the loader?
And taking off the loader is very simple. It's not quite as refined as some of what you find, like the John Deere cam system.
Yeah.
They do have a nice loader on and off.
Yeah,
I
they
will
do.
say that.
They do.
Absolutely. So On this guy, it's very simple. So you have your kickstands. These are spring loaded, so they'll just pop down, and you put it in certain slots. So do that on both sides. Once you've got the loader down on the ground, level out your bucket. You'll pull these pins out here. Once the pins come loose, it's best to keep those guys greased. Let's put it that way. So once these are out, basically just roll the bucket back just a little bit. It'll lift up out of the hooks, disconnect the hydraulic hoses, and drive out from it.
Okay, so the pin, you have to get this freed up.
Yes.
So you have to take a little of the pressure off to get it freed up, to get it out. You have
Absolutely.
So that's probably the most difficult part, is getting that pin free and at the right
More or
the right
less,
height.
yeah.
Other than
Absolutely.
that, no.
And the nice thing is too, is if you're standing here, you know, you can manipulate the loader bucket just a little bit, since you're right here next to it, able to get the pins out.
Yeah.
I like the position of the hydraulics.
You think maybe you could get those?
I think it would be easier.
Do you offer
for
a
me.
single point connection of one of those?
Kind of like Kubota has on their
Kubota
BX
has on the
tractor.
BX, exactly.
Absolutely. No, not at this time. There's nothing on the horizon, but who knows? We might see what comes
I
out.
just think this, where it's at now, would be easier for me to disconnect than it is on the 1025.
Yeah, I do too.
I
think
have to
it'd
get
be
down
easier.
on my knees, and then it's hard for me to pry
And it's
them
a good ways
off.
from you too,
Yeah,
so it's
absolutely.
you lose strength when you're doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we would be taking the loader off of this size as much as we do on Johnny. What else do we need to see about this tractor?
Well, let's put it this way. You know, the rest of it, mechanically, it's a very easy tractor to work on. It's a very easy tractor to maintain. They don't skimp on some things, like, for example, the fenders. There are metal fenders on there. So no plastic, no polymer, and the hood is a metal hood on that tractor.
Speaking of that, let's pop the hood. Everybody likes to see the
Absolutely.
inside.
You're reading my mind.
Now this is made by Daedong, right?
Daedong is Kiot's parent company, absolutely, out of South Korea. So they're actually one of the biggest OEMs, or a very large OEM rather, in the industry, because they have built the Bobcat tractors. All that was the Kioti painted black and white. They built tractors for McCormick. They built a Branson tractor at one point. They built one for Cub Cadet. They built a lot of different things, and motors that used to go in Mahindra tractors. What you're going to see though is your battery is right up front. It's easy to get to. Your air filter right in front of that guy. Very simple. Also with the SE series, you do get heavier duty hydraulic coolers up there as well. That is not something that's standard in this.
Okay, that's this.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so you do have a standard hydraulic cooler and a hydrostat cooler up there as well.
Okay.
So that's going to keep that
the
guy
DPF back there.
It is the DPF, yes. So the DPF is on the right side of the tractor, but thankfully all your maintenance points are on, well, staring at the tractor from the front, maintenance points are on the left side. And the DPF and common rail injection is nothing to be worried about on these tractors. Every day we get somebody that comes in, oh, I don't want DPF. Or, I've heard there's problems with emission systems. To date, I've only had to touch an emission system one time. And that was because there was a tractor that came in that had a 50-50 mix of gas and diesel.
Oh.
Very bad day and very expensive. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Because it hurt more than the emission system.
How long have you guys been selling these here?
This will be our 8th year this year. So we've been selling them since mid-2010. And you'll also notice oil filter. It's that guy right here.
Very easy to access the oil filter.
Absolutely. Your fuel filter, easy to access right up here. Also, it's got a primer button built into the top of it as well.
Okay.
And that way, if you ever run out of fuel, exactly, it makes it a lot easier than having to crack lines and things like that. Looking at the back of the tractor, pretty simple other than your valves back there. So your hydraulic fluid, fill, and dipstick is that little orange knob right down there.
Okay. And the SCVs, I see them. Their other rear remotes are kind of hard to get to, but they're also out of the way. Fuel tank there. How big's the fuel tank?
Fuel tank on this guy is 8 gallons.
You know all this stuff just like this, Aaron. How much time do you spend on this?
Quite a bit. Quite a bit, and several years, let's put it that way. I don't remember every fact, but I try to remember the most important facts and features. Let's put it that way.
You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, when it comes to the steering, that's something a lot of people forget on the tractors, is how the steering systems are hooked up. So, for example, on a Kubota L3901 or 33, they have mechanical steering arm that comes out from the front, and then it'll connect to the axle straight out here. And the Kioti has full hydraulic steering basically tucked into the front axle there, so it's nice and protected, and it gives it that ability to have that tight turning radius. And the only other things that I did forget to mention are important. So one being the hydraulics, and then your lift capacity out of the loader.
Yeah.
So for example, the 35 and the 4010s have a hydraulic system with 11.7 gallons per minute of total flow versus what you normally find in the 9 to 10 range, so a little bit higher.
And is that shared between steering, or is there separate pumps?
That is shared between steering on there. Yeah, okay. Absolutely. So,
and the loader lift capacity?
Yeah, loader lift capacity. So all the way up, full height at the pivot pins is typically the measurement that I use. I don't remember the tipping weights and things like that, like a skid steer, but you're looking at 1850 all the way up.
Okay.
So it does have the capacity to lift like a 5x6 round bale, and a lot of things that a tractor this size doesn't normally have the capability to lift. So Kioti's always ahead on hydraulics and lift.
Yeah. Aaron, you've done a great job. We really appreciate you giving us a tour of this CK3510SE.
Super equipment?
Super equipped.
Yeah.
Super equipped.
Super equipped. And the 4010, CK4010 is identical to this, other than the 5 additional horsepower.
Absolutely. Identical in every single way. Yes.
This was definitely got to be on our list. We really appreciate your time, Aaron. And
Stop drooling.
Yeah, I'm drooling.
I can tell.
Christy, we're going to have to stop before I end up wanting to take one of these home. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. Remember the max speed? How fast it'll go in high range?
I want to say it goes about 12 to 13 in high range, somewhere in there. Not a speed demon by any means.
Yeah, well, that's not your objective.
Exactly.